Dear ladies and gentlemen, a presentation on zero liquid discharge system for the industrial effluent at Ronitech CETP as case study. It is about my profile. I'm Engineer D. Sivakumar, is an industrious person who is the General Manager of Ronipet Tannery Effluent Treatment Company Limited. The name called is Ronitech Common Effluent Treatment Plant, having experience over 2 decades since 1998 in treating the tannery effluent. I played a vital role in implementation, operation and maintenance of the zero liquid discharge system, which uses sophisticated technology for treatment and recycling of wastewater. Now, he is entrusted with the job of implementing the upgradation of the ZLD system, which is aimed to reduce the cost of operation and maintenance and also to improve the better efficiency. I'm talking about the environmental pollution. Environmental pollution can be defined as any undesirable in physical, chemical or biological characteristics of any component of the environment, that is air, water, soil, which can cause harmful effects on various forms of life or property. In pollutant, according to Section 2B of the Environmental Protection Act 1986, the term pollutant can be defined as influence of any solid, liquid or gaseous substances present in such a concentration as may be or tend to be injurious, cause nuisance, harmful effects and uneasiness of the organisms in the environment. There are 8 types of industrial pollution is there. The different types of pollution caused by the various industries are air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, noise pollution, radioactive pollution, thermal pollution, plastic pollution and light pollution. Mainly I'm talk about the water pollution, and water pollution is one of such a pollution which is treated to the environment, as many industries that discharge wastewater and or hazardous chemical into the water bodies includes pulp and paper mills, distilleries, sugar mills, textile units, tanneries, thermal power plants, the food, dairy and beverage industries, chemical units and slaughterhouses, etc. And the water pollution of industrial wastewater caused by the discharge of harmful chemicals and substances into the water, making it unsuitable for desired consumption and for other purposes. Common industrial pollutants responsible for causing water pollution are sulfur, asbestos, noxious solvents, polychlorinated biphenyls, lead, mercury, nitrates, phosphates, acids, alkali, dyes, pesticides, benzene, chlorobenzene, carbon tetrachloride, toluenes, and volatile organic and inorganic chemicals, etc. I'm another talk about the wastewater treatment. In order to minimize environmental pollution due to the small and medium scale industries, cleaner production technologies and the formation of waste minimization circles are being encouraged in India. Besides, collective treatment at a centralized facility known as the Common Effluent Treatment Plant, it is called CETP, is considered as a viable treatment solution to overcome the constraints associated with the effluent treatment in the small to medium enterprises. The concept of the Common Effluent Treatment Plant, the CETP, is based on the concept one for all and all for one. It is a boon for MSMEs. It requires a well-knitted organization, involvement, active participation of the members, unit, a dynamic leadership. So the overall view of the effluent treatment plants and the common effluent treatment plants in country sector in India and in the state of Tamil Nadu. So in India, there are the installed capacities around 200 cubic meter to 36,000 cubic meter per day. Number of ETPs are around 200 ETPs are there. Number of CETPs, 23 common effluent treatment plants are there. In particularly in the state of Tamil Nadu, The installed capacity is 200 to 4,500 KLD per day. The number of ETP is around 150. The number of CETP is around 13. The chrome recovery units are 400 units. All the operating units, tanneries in the Tamil Nadu are having individual ETP or connected to a CETP. As a case study of Ronitech CETP for treating the tannery effluent, the CETP of Ronipet Tannery Effluent Treatment Company Limited at Ronipet is one of such a successful facility catering to the needs of 92 tanneries, which born out of urgent needs to address the water pollution control problem faced by these MSMEs tanneries during the first of 90s. Ronitech CETP. The plant is designed to handle about 4,500 cubic meter per day of effluent, making it one of the largest common effluent treatment plant for tannery wastewater in the country. Since it is establishment in the year 1995, the CETP has been constantly upgraded with either partial assistance or matching grant from Government of India and Government of Tamil Nadu. This is the view of state of Tamil Nadu. And the CETP is located in erstwhile Vellore district, now in Ronitech CETP. This is a view of Ronitech CETP. And this is general information about the Ronitech CETP. The total number of tanneries are connected, 92. There are 82 tanneries are in operation. Our plant was commissioned 5th June 1995. The raw material used for processing leathers is bovine and calf skin. And there are 55 tanneries are operating with the raw to semi-finished, and 37 tanneries are operating with the semi-finished to finish. Our designed flow rate is 4,500 cubic meter per day. The installed zero liquid discharge system is 3,600 cubic meter per day. Currently, 1,600 cubic meter we are receiving right now. And that cost of investment is around 72.3 crores, and that operation maintenance cost is about 670 rupees per cubic meter. The organization is established in 1995, and that first upgradation was done in 2005, and that secure landfill system was installed in 2008, and the CETP has implemented the zero liquid discharge system in 2009. And again, that CETP is upgraded and capacity augmentation work is started around 2015. This is the aerial view of the Ronitech CETP. So in the tanning industries, the Ronitech member tanneries are doing various type of process of leather involving raw hide skins to finished leather via vegetable tanning or chrome tanning and semi-finished to finished leather. In line with the principle of CETP to manage the pollution through 4 R's: reduce, reuse, recover, and recycle, the member tanneries have adopted cleaner technology to reduce the pollution levels. In all the member tanneries of Ronitech CETP have installed the individual pre-treatment system before being discharged to the conveyance main of the Ronitech CETP. And the effluent from the member tanneries undergoes screening, sedimentation in their PTU before discharging into the CETP sewer line. And the main objective of the pre-treatment system is to reduce the hydrogen sulfide generation from the effluent, to avoid scale formation in the pipeline, minimization of the suspended solids in the raw effluent, hassle-free maintenance of sewer network system, improves treatability of effluent, measurement of the effluent discharge. This is the schematic view of the pre-treatment system. This first one is screening chamber, and that whatever solids they are getting from the process up to 10 mm solids, it will be removed from the screen, and then it goes to the raw effluent collection tank. See, all the effluents are collected here. From here, they are pumping to the pre-settler. The purpose of the pre-settler is to settle the coarse solids and remove to the sludge drying pad or filter press for the separation of the liquid and water. And that supernatant getting from the pre-settler, it goes to the Netland mesh box. It is a fine fine size up to 1 mm, that whatever any floating matters are there that get removed from the Netland mesh box. Then it goes to the final effluent collection tank. In that final collection tank, after pre-treatment, it is collected in all the effluent. Then it is pumped through the flow metering system. That flow metering system purpose is to measure the quantity of the effluent discharged by the members and tanneries. And also, we have installed the online TDS meter since 2017. It is like a polluter payer principle, because the polluter payer principle is implemented to calculate the pollution load discharged by the industries. This is the view of electromagnetic flow meter as well as TDS metering system. This is the TDS average running average and salt running average, salt totalizer. The TDS based charges to the members is to reduce the TDS level in the effluent to the CETP, to reduce the TDS at source, to distribute the O&M cost of the evaporator based on the TDS load discharged by the members. It means that the higher contributor of TDS load will be charged more and vice versa. And advantages of the TDS based charges. Members will tend to implement the proper desalting of raw hides and skins at floor level. Members will use the salt-free dyes and chemicals in the processing of semi-finished to finished leather. Due to adoption of the above practices at tannery level, the evaporation cost is expected to come down. The cost of removal of salt by de-dusting of hides and skins at tannery level will comes to 3.7 rupees per kg of salt, whereas at the evaporation cost comes to 8.2 rupees per kg because of the thermal evaporation. This is some of the statistical details for the various process and contributed the pollution load. And another one is that many companies are doing chromium leather process, and everybody having have to install the chrome recovery plants in the individual tanneries to remove the chromium presence in the effluent. So whatever, there are two types of effluent segregated, and one is trade effluent, one is chrome liquor. That all the trade effluents are comes to the pre-treatment. That chromium effluent is collected in the chrome recovery plant. In that chrome recovery plant, so they are mainly collecting all the effluent with the pH of 2 to 3. Then it is pumped to the reactor. In that reactor, they are adding with the magnesium oxide to increase the pH for converting the chromium oxide into the chromium sulfate in the bottom of the tank. That chrome slurry is collected in the collection tank. Again, they are adding with the SgSO4 from converting into the basic chrome sulfate. That whatever supernatant they are getting from this treatment, that will be discharged to the CETP for the further treatment. This is view of chrome recovery unit. And I'm speaking about the zero liquid discharge system. The zero liquid discharge system key drivers fresh water scarcity, stringent environmental regulations for the discharge of treated effluent, challenging in the ZLE system, frequent fouling and scaling in the RO membranes and calendars of MEE, stable operation in the pre-treatment and in the RO membranes, limitation of the pressure in the RO membrane to achieve the recovery, high energy consumption in the evaporator, solid residue from MEE. This is the process flow chart. The effluent from the tanneries operated in the pre-treatment and chrome recovery system. Then it goes to the CETP common effluent treatment plant, primary treatment, and then it goes to the secondary, then it goes to tertiary, and then it goes to the RO. Then we will that reject it goes to the evaporator, RO reject management. Then from the permeate, we are getting from the RO permeate and condensate, both are collected in the one tank. It will be distributed to the member tanneries. This is a typical flow diagram for the ZLD system for ternary effluent. So as I told you, this is a primary biological and tertiary treatment, then it goes to the ultrafiltration, then reverse osmosis stage 1 and stage 2, and from the reverse osmosis first and second stage we are getting a 70% of the permeate water, and in third stage we are getting again a 10%. It both put together it is 80% we are getting. The remaining 20 to 30% goes to the multiple effect evaporator. There we are getting the 15% of the condensate water, that 5% we collect as the salt. This is the process description about the ZLD system. The effluent from the tanneries flow through the mechanized bar screen in the to the receiving sump, wherein a submersible mixer is installed for complete mixing before transfer to the pre-settler unit for removal of easily settleable pore solids. The overflow from the pre-settler is passed through a rotary fine screen which screens solids less than 3 mm before discharged into the equalization tank, wherein 2 numbers of mixed flow system are installed for homogeneous mixing in the tank by injecting pure oxygen to remove odor presence in the effluent by using VSI technology, a latest technology adopted by separating the pure oxygen from atmosphere at on-site by deployable oxygen concentration system. It is called DOTS. The VSA oxygen technology advantages are high molecular sieve life and equipment life, meets the purity standard of 93% and can be reached as high as 95%. 50% of the less power consumption than processing absorption technology. So this is the animation video of the VSA technology. The atmospheric oxygen, it is taken by the VSA by using the blower, reversible blower. It will be fed to the heat exchanger for removal of the moisture presence in the air. Then it is passed through the molecular sieve for separation of the oxygen and nitrogen. So that whatever oxygen is separation, that will be collected in the storage tank, that will be used to the process. This is the general arrangement drawing for the VSA technology, and then it goes to the physiochemical treatment. In that physiochemical treatment, after homogenization, it will be taken to the chemical treatment. So the effluent is pumping from the equalization tank is allowed to add the chemicals of lime and alum in the flash mixture for coagulation, and polyelectrolyte is added in the flocculator to facilitate the flocculation of solid, which will be sedimented in the primary clarifier and conveyed, and whatever sludge it is settled in the primary clarifier, it is conveyed to the filter press for separation of the liquid and solid by mechanical dewatering system. The in the primary clarifier, the pH is to maintain about 8 to 8.3 for precipitate of the chromium presence in the effluent as chromium hydroxide. This is a process flow diagram of our common effluent treatment plant. So in the biological treatment, the above mentioned primary treatment removes 65 to 70% and 40 to 45% of the incoming suspended solids and BOD, as well as precipitating most of the chromium. The overflow from the primary clarifier is further treated in the pre-aeration tank for removal of hydrogen sulfide using oxygen, pure oxygen with a mixed flow system before entering into the extended aeration type activated sludge process in the aeration tank 1 and 2 with diffused aeration system of overall hydrodynamic reaction with the state of art technology. This is the view of OSR, original hydrodynamic aeration technology. So normally we use fixed aerator, conventional fixed aerator type, and disc diffuser or tubular diffuser. Like that we may use in the most of the effluent treatment plants and common effluent treatment plants. This technology is implemented in our plant to avoid the back pressure from the diffusers and also trouble-free cleaning, and there is no chemical cleaning is required. It is there is no accumulation of the solids. It is a proper hydrodynamic reaction is there. That's this. Comparison between diffusers and OSR is shown in the animation video. You can able to understand for the 30 seconds. This is a OSR aerator model AE50N. This is a typical diffuser, porous air diffusers. You can able to see the fine bubbles clearly with a strong green high energy laser used on both tanks. Both air diffusers are installed touching the inner side wall of their bubbles in the OSR aerators. The reason the bottom right of the tanks are dark and that these areas are out of range of the laser. The air blowers are switched off right now. As you can see, the OSR aerator generates many more fine bubbles than the rubber porous air diffuser. After 30 seconds, OSR aerator's tank has many more fine bubbles is there in the remaining. So the oxygen transfer efficiency will be better. So this is also installed for the, it is called a mixed flow system. So in order to maintain the dissolved oxygen level in the biological treatment, in case of any deficiency in the DO level, dissolved oxygen level, we can use the pure oxygen to maintain the consistent DO in the biological treatment system. So then after biological treatment, it goes to the tertiary treatment. So in the tertiary treatment, again we are adding the alum for removal of the suspended solids, and it is passed through the dual media filter and for filtration of the fine solids present in the effluent. And then it's subjected to neutralization of effluent getting from the tertiary treatment. So in the neutralization system, we are adding the HCl to bring down the pH of 8.2 to 6.5 to 7 before feeding into the dual media filter. So in the dual media filter, so we have already put up with the activated glass fiber media for the better filtration and longevity life, and we are passed through the effluent from the effluent collected in the collection tank to the dual media filter for removal of suspended solids present in the effluent. Then it goes to the ultrafiltration for removal of even fine particle up to 10,000 daltons, and all the suspended solids will be removed in the ultrafiltration system. Then it goes to the reverse osmosis. This is the schematic view of the ultrafiltration. This is the ultrafiltration operation model sequence. So this animation is given here. You can able to view, and then it goes to the reverse osmosis. So after removal of all the suspended solids, only inorganic the effluent from the RO feed tank is pumped through a micron cartridge filter and fed to the reverse osmosis membrane stage 1 by using a high pressure pump. Reject from the stage 1 is fed to the RO stage 2 by using a high pressure pump with a turbocharger installed to increase the pressure without or for the separation of inorganic content and require the permeate from the effluent. The permeate water from the first stage and the second stage are collected in the permeate tank, and the reject is collected in the high pressure RO feed tank for neutralizing by adding HCl to reduce the pH from 8.2 to 6.5. Is pumped to a high pressure disk membrane RO to recover the additional permeate from the reject. Thereby the quantity of reject fed to the evaporator has been reduced. This is the animation video of the reverse osmosis. You can able to view. Then that whatever effluent final concentrated reject we are getting from the high pressure RO, it is collected in a reject tank. Then that Ronitec CETP has installed the 7-stage multiple effect evaporator with the 4 stages of falling flame and 3 stages of forced circulation evaporation towers calandrias. The effluent getting heated by feeding steam from the boilers to the calandrias. The fuel used for producing steam is firewood as a biomass required. The salt, lead and solid residue of the final concentrated liquid is separated out in a pusher centrifuge. See, it is a very simple technology. So the steam is produced from the boiler, and then one is the falling film technology. That it is a very simple technology. So the effluent fall out from the top of the calandria tower to it is the bottom. Then that externally the steam is fed to the tube. Then ultimately that tubes are getting heated and the vapor is formed in the calandria. That vapor will be separated from the calandrias and it will be cooled by using the cooling tower. That whatever vapor is there, that will be collected as the water. It is a pure water, evaporated water. Then that evaporated water is collected in the permeate tank. Then that we are getting from the 70%, 80% from the RO system, and that 10 to 15% from the evaporator, both mixed together, and it will be distributed back to the member tanneries of Ronitec CETP. This is the process flow diagram of multiple effect evaporator. This is the animation video screenshot. This is a various stage of treatment of effluent. So from the left to right, raw effluent, primary outlet and secondary outlet, DMF, ultrafiltration, RO feed, RO permeate, RO reject, SPRO permeate, evaporator feed, evaporator condensate, and evaporator salt and chemical sludge. So there are 2 solid waste generated from the treatment. One is chemical sludge generated from the chemical treatment at a primary stage, and another one solid residue generated from the multiple effect evaporator as a salt. One is sludge from the primary and secondary clarifiers and reactivity clarifiers are discharged to the mechanical diversion system by using the filter press and then stored in the on-site secured landfill system. Then the dried sludge is stored in the SLF system is then scientifically disposed to the cement industries for co-processing in their cement kiln. And another salt, solid residue from the multiple effect evaporator as a salt, the crystallized salt generated from the MEE is collected and stored in the impervious closed salt storage yard. Various R&D trials has been conducted by Ronitec for separation of the salt. A committee has been formed by the TNPSB, including CLRI and CSM-CRI and OISMA, to conduct the trials for separation of the sodium chloride and sodium sulfate from the existing stored ME salt. As advised by the director, CLRI, the CETP has sent 21 metric tons of salt to CSM-CRI. That means the Central Salt Marine Chemical Research Institute at Bhavnagar, Gujarat, for conducting the trials for separation of the sodium chloride and sodium sulfate. The CETPs along with the director CLRI has visited the site and satisfied with the result. Based on the technical report from CSM-CRI, SEMCOT is preparing a detailed project report for separation of the sodium chloride and sodium sulfate from the ME salt, and then will be submitted to DPIIT for grant of subsidy. And after that salt will be purified properly and it will be separating the sodium chloride and sodium sulfate, and it will be used for the industrial application. And after implementation of this salt separation, that zero solid waste shall be assured by the CETPs, and that there is no liquid waste also will not be discharged, and there is no solid waste also will be generated out of the CETPs, common effluent treatment plants. This is the view of secure landfill system. And that CETP also to ensure the zero liquid discharge system standards by implemented by the Tamil Nadu Pollution Control Board as well as Central Pollution Control Board, regulatory bodies of the state and central government. And that the CETP has installed electromagnetic flow meters, various stages, and the IP cameras are connected to the water quality watch center of TNPCB and the CPCB portal for online monitoring to ensure zero liquid discharge system at all times and complying the same. This is the operation cost in the various stage. So it is one is up to primary and secondary stage. That is 35% of the cost is contributed. It is around 235 rupees per cubic meter of effluent. And second is RO system. It is 27% of the cost is contributed with the rupees 181 rupees. And another one is the highest expenses. It goes to the evaporator. 38%. It is 255 rupees per cost of treatment. And that moreover, that CETPs now, in order to reduce the operation maintenance cost of the ZLD system, the CETPs taken a lot of measures to upgrade the CETP to reduce the O&M cost. In some of the components are mentioning here. One is the solar power generation system, 5 megawatt capacity, and solar steam generation, and paddle dryer for reducing the moisture from the sludge generated from the primary treatment, and then ammonia removal for the condensate getting from the evaporator. And that expected cost of O&M reduction after upgradation is around additional permeate will reduce by 35 to 40% load to the MEE by disc RO, and power cost will be reduced by 80% due to harnessing of solar energy. Moisture in the sludge will be reduced to 60 to 10% by using the paddle dryer. And overall O&M costs expected to reduction will be around 75 to 150 rupees per cubic meter cost. This is a question and answer. Any questions, doubts you can able to share, and we will reply to that.